Versatile Mage. Chapter 71 Spirit Grade Stardust Magic Tool. Not long after, battle mages arrived in the old banyan tree-filled residential area. Among them was a healing mage, who tended to Captain Zhu Dawang's deep chest wound. Fortunately, Zhu was a magician. His strengthened body kept him alive. A normal person would have died instantly. Seeing the scar running from Zhu's chest to his abdomen, Mo Fan realized the importance of defense magic. He felt grateful for the bone scythe shield in his possession. Without it, he would have been dead. Mr. Yang, I think we should still sound the alert. The frequency of these magical beast appearances is unusually high, Guo Kaitang urged the intermediate mage, Yang Zue. Our magic association is already discussing the matter with the Hunters Union, and the government is involved too, Yang replied with concern. But we issued an alert not long ago. Doing so again so soon could cause public panic. A one-eyed magic wolf, something that shouldn't even appear in the city, just showed up. That means something bad is happening, Guo Kaitang pressed. Don't worry, we're investigating. We've reinforced city security, but there are still situations we can't handle alone. We'll need your beast hunter teams to help, Yang assured her. We'll do our best, but our captain is injured, so, Guo Kaitang trailed off. I'll temporarily assign a fire mage to lead until he recovers. Speaking of which, when did your team add a new member, a lightning mage? Yang asked with a small smile toward Mo Fan. Recruited from the auditions, Guo Kaitang replied. Auditions? Yang was stunned. It's the first time I've heard of a lightning mage joining from a recruitment fair. The team laughed and turned their attention to Mo Fan. His performance had surprised everyone. When they thought the evolving one-eyed magic wolf would kill them, his second-level lightning strike turned the tide. They were lucky to have him, as most lightning mages of that level were sought after by large families, the Hunters Union, the Magic Association, or the government. Yuang, watching everyone's admiration for Mo Fan, frowned. Even with his prestigious ice element family background, he knew the brilliance of the lightning element could outshine him. Kaitang, to stop Mo Fan from changing teams, why not tie him down with your body? He's already saved your life. You still haven't repaid him, Fashi teased. Get lost, Guo Kaitang snapped, her cheeks flushing red. Yuang's face grew even darker. The disturbance caused by the one-eyed magic wolf finally subsided. After changing clothes, Mo Fan headed back to the school dorms. Just as he was about to climb the wall, he spotted a small figure near the gate. Zhuman. Mo Fan was surprised. Why hadn't she gone home? Mo Fan, I thought you. Zhuman's eyes filled with tears upon seeing him unharmed. She remembered how he had risked his life for everyone during the practicals, though her pride had kept her from expressing her gratitude. This time, with her grandmother's life at stake, Mo Fan had once again saved them both. She had no idea how to repay him. Mo Fan, feeling awkward, listened as she said, "Thank you for saving my grandmother. My parents are always busy, so I grew up with her." After consoling her, Mo Fan urged her to return to the female dorms. A boy sending a crying girl home late at night would draw attention. Back in the dorm, his roommates pestered him with questions. Boring. This daddy is out saving the world. When everyone was asleep, Mo Fan went to the rooftop water tower, his private cultivation spot. Why hasn't the little loach pendant reacted to the soul essence? It's like it's asleep, he muttered. As if hearing him, the pendant stirred, releasing a viscous, silk-like radiance that wrapped around it. Its surface transformed. No longer rusty and stained, it now gleamed like polished jade. The thing old man Ying left me really is a treasure, Mo Fan thought, entranced. A soothing energy flowed through his body. Compared to the warmth of his common-grade stardust magic tool, this felt like being wrapped in soft silk, refreshing, peaceful, and restoring his strength instantly. It didn't hinder movement, but left him feeling as comfortable as a baby in a soft bed. Even more shocking, his stardust was being nourished as if he were meditating, without actually meditating. It can increase cultivation passively. Mo Fan was stunned. This was no ordinary tool. It was undoubtedly a spirit-grade Stardust magic tool. Chapter End. Versatile Mage. Chapter 72. The incredible life starts now. The amount of time Mo Fan could endure meditating was already much longer than most people. With the assistance of the Stardust magic tool, he could cultivate for 12 hours a day without any problem. However, the time a person had was still limited. Even if a higher grade Stardust magic tool allowed him to cultivate for an even longer period, it wouldn't mean much. It's not like Mo Fan would meditate for 24 hours a day. After experiencing combat, Mo Fan understood that if a magician relied solely on meditation to increase their strength, it would not be enough. On the contrary, experiencing battle, facing life-threatening circumstances, and having the thirst to become stronger when confronted by a powerful foe all contributed to a steady, definite increase in the strength of his Stardust. Thus, Mo Fan needed to maintain a long daily cultivation time while also participating in hunter team operations. If an even higher grade Stardust magic tool only increased a mage's cultivation time, it would not be very effective for someone like Mo Fan, who could already cultivate for 10 or more hours a day. What went beyond Mo Fan's expectations was that the spirit-grade Stardust magic tool not only allowed him to meditate continuously, but also directly nourished his Stardust to a certain degree. When he was not meditating, his Stardust could still slowly grow. When he did meditate, the growth effect on his Stardust was even greater than normal. Mo Fan had already gained the ability to meditate for longer periods, and now with boosted effects from meditation, his power was increasing like a rocket. Awesome. If it's like this, then not only will I be able to advance my fire spell to the 3rd level before I graduate, but my lightning spells will also reach the 3rd level. If I work even harder, I might even touch the threshold of becoming an intermediate mage. When the stars reached level 3, it signified that the Stardust was not far from transforming into a nebula. Mo Fan had already researched many things concerning intermediate mages. The element first formed within a magician's spiritual world was known as Stardust. When the Stardust turned into a nebula, the star orbits would appear more magnificent and bright. This meant the magician had reached the intermediate level. The nebula was much larger than the Stardust. If the Stardust was just a tiny, sparkling speck in the vast universe, then the nebula was a cloud where starlight converged. The nebula contained much more mana, signifying that the mighty intermediate magicians could rip open the vast sky and arrive grandly. When you linked the stars within a Stardust, they became primary magic spells. When you formed a star map with the stars within a nebula, they became intermediate magic spells. Mo Fan would never forget when the intermediate mage named Yang Zue cast his intermediate magic. Beneath his feet was an incomparably mysterious and magnificent star map. It was different from the radiance of a star path, stranger, mightier, and filled with enough power to earn the boundless admiration of all magicians still hovering at the primary level. The intermediate water magic, violent wave, that could wash an entire street, and the intermediate wind magic, wind disk, that could lift a one-eyed magic wolf as heavy as a car more than 10 meters into the sky, not to mention how cool they looked. Their strength was abnormal, on a whole different level from primary spells. If just wind and water intermediate magic are that amazing, then wait until I've mastered lightning and fire intermediate spells, then who would need to be afraid of the Mu family? Let's diligently cultivate. Mo Fan, my incredible life has only just started. The winter wind was blowing smoothly from the north. Everywhere it went, the trees shed the leaves that covered them, greeting the breeze with bare branches. In the south, the flora wasn't affected as much by winter winds. No matter how strong the wind, the trees stayed green and vibrant. A few falling leaves were merely a polite nod to the seasons. Mo Fan was in Bo City, a place without distinct seasons. Even when they did appear, the change often meant that Father Typhoon was coming. It was yet another typhoon season. Mo Fan and his friends curled up in the dorms. The moist, cold building, with its faint musty smell, was mostly silent. Most students were working hard for next year's Magic High exams. What no one realized was that a mere magician graduating high school would still need to struggle in society. Without aiming for a higher position, it became harder to advance in magic. Those who truly wanted to stand out and gain respect had to enter a magic university, where the chances of becoming an intermediate magician were much higher. Intermediate magician. This was a magician's one chance to completely change their life. All the students were doing their best to strive for it. Big Brother Mo Fan, I awakened the healing element. So if you ever get injured, I can use magic to heal you, came a text message, along with an adorable smiling face. Mo Fan was slightly astonished. What the heck? What is this? Healing element. How did you awaken that? All of us awakened a basic element, so how come you awakened light magic during your primary awakening? Mo Fan quickly texted back. The vast majority of first awakenings are basic elements. However, there are a few exceptions. I heard that some people can use unusual items to conduct their awakening, giving them a definite chance to awaken a certain magic element, Yi Xingxia replied. Conduct awakening. If I reach intermediate level and want to awaken an element, couldn't I use this conduction method? Mo Fan felt as if his eyes had been opened to a whole new world. You can, but you need to gather the conduction materials. Xingxia, I love you to death, you just helped me solve a huge problem. Mo Fan's dull mood instantly brightened. He had always thought awakening was random, that whatever element you got was final. He never imagined there would be something like awakening conduction in this world. That meant when he reached intermediate level and gained the chance to awaken a second element, he could use this method to obtain the dark element. The window of magic was opening wider and wider for Mo Fan. Each time it opened, he saw a future he yearned for, driving him to cultivate passionately. The progress of his lightning and fire stardusts had gone smoothly, advancing several times faster than he had expected. Especially after meditating and participating in hunter team battles, he had pulled far ahead of many of his peers. Still, this wasn't something to boast about. On the day of the Magic High exams, his peers would be so shocked that their jaws would hit the cement floor. Chapter N. Versatile Mage. Chapter 73 Underground Holy Spring. Time quickly flowed by. Mo Fan devoted his precious youth to cultivating and hunting beasts, thoroughly enjoying the experience. In just the blink of an eye, the number of beasts killed by Mo Fan had already exceeded 15. In the eyes of the old veterans at the Hunters Union, he would now be considered an extremely experienced magician. At school, the Magic High exams, the waterfall that could allow students to leap into the gates of the dragons, was slowly approaching. Your comfortable days are quickly coming to an end, Mo Fan, Zhao Kunsen said, delighting in Mo Fan's coming misery. With graduation approaching, it also meant that the magic duel promise, witnessed by the school principal, was drawing near. He had to admit, that man Mu Juoyan was cunning. He had arranged the magic duel before the Magic High exams. This meant that if Mo Fan suffered even a small mishap in the duel, it could seriously impact his performance in the exams. Brother Fan, I heard from the neighbors about Mu Juoyan. He's preparing for Yuang's 18th year coming of age ceremony. Our Bo City has always placed great importance on the coming of age ceremony, and for a big family like the Mu family, they'll definitely make it more grand than anything, Zhang Xiaoho said. I know, they'll invite rich and powerful guests. All the important people in Bo City will be there. Families with status enjoy doing this kind of thing, Mo Fan replied. But this is so unfavorable toward you. That old scoundrel is clearly trying to cheat you, using you as a stepping stone for Yuang. Right now, Brother Fan, you're the #1 student at Tianlan Magic High. If you were to lose the magic duel in front of all those people, not only would it give their family great prestige, but it would also mean the #1 student among the 1,500 at Tianlan Magic High couldn't defeat a student trained by their family. Principal Zhu wouldn't be able to save face. Principal Zhu was the most important figure at Tianlan Magic High. He and Mu Juoyan were longtime rivals in Bo City. The prestige of Principal Zhu in Bo City was very high. He had earned the trust of the people. Many outstanding grassroots magicians would never have succeeded without his support. Through the school, Principal Zhu had discovered and nurtured many brilliant magicians from humble backgrounds. Mu Juoyan, on the other hand, was a typical example of a magic family clan, focusing on training their own disciples. By relying on the elite children of aristocrats, Mu Juoyan had secured a long-standing position in Bo City. From time to time, grassroots magicians and clan magicians would compete. For Mu Juoyan, the highlight of every year was watching the young magicians from his clan defeat the students that Principal Zhu had nurtured at Tianlan Magic High. Deng Kai and Principal Zhu firmly sided with the school. That's why, when Mo Fan clashed with Mu Juoyan, even without formally arranging a duel with a Mu family youth, they would have found a way to protect him. A student capable of achieving 3 S's in the annual examination was considered a school treasure. There was no way they would let the tyrant Mu Juoyan suppress him. After hearing that Mo Fan had effortlessly taken down the berserk summoned beast, both Principal Zhu and Deng Kai became even more certain that they had found a rare gem. Mo Fan didn't realize that Principal Zhu and Deng Kai had always kept a closer watch on him. They valued grassroots magicians highly and had arranged for people to look after him. However, a school was still a school. They couldn't show blatant favoritism. While they wanted to give Mo Fan a Stardust magic tool for constant use, they couldn't act like an ancestral family that favored one student while ignoring others. When the day of Yuang's grand coming-of-age ceremony finally arrived, Principal Zhu and Deng Kai could no longer hold back and summoned Mo Fan to the principal's office. Mo Fan had met Deng Kai before. He had once stood up for Mo Fan and was the head of Bo City's Hunters Union, even stronger than the intermediate mage Yang Zue. This was Mo Fan's first meeting with Principal Zhu. The old principal, highly respected by students and parents alike, carried the aura of a hermit. Yet, when important matters arose, he would always step forward to take charge. Mo Fan, there are some matters we need to discuss seriously with you, Deng Kai began. Mo Fan stood quietly, listening attentively. The truth is, from time to time, the students of Tianlan Magic High and the disciples of the Mu family have exchanges. In past years, we'd choose the most outstanding student, the one with the strongest combat ability, to face the family's disciples. Initially, we had placed our hopes on Zhu Zhaoting. After all, he's a rare lightning mage, giving him a greater chance of winning. But in the annual examination, you performed exceptionally well and even dared to provoke their family. To prevent Mu Juoyan from making your life difficult, we decided to move this matter toward a fight that was bound to happen anyway, Deng Kai said sincerely. I understand. Oh, what I mean is, thank you, directors, for helping me out of an embarrassing situation, Mo Fan said. To be honest, we've already delayed this match for 2 years. We've watched your growth closely in that time. But you still need to pay the price for being so reckless back then, Deng Kai said, shaking his head helplessly. Deng Kai had received reports that Yuang's cultivation had advanced rapidly in the past 2 years. He had also gained real combat experience through his family's training. Even if Mo Fan was clever, he might still lose to Yuang. Many believed Mo Fan had been lucky when he killed that berserk summoned beast back then. Principal Zhu sighed. Mo Fan, we know life can be unfair. Some are blessed from birth, while others have nothing. But that doesn't mean you can curse the heavens, accuse others, or vent your resentment so boldly. While many wish to speak out against those in power, doing so puts you on the edge of an abyss. When your strength is far from matching that of a great family, swallowing your anger is sometimes the wiser choice. Having served as principal for many years, Principal Zhu had seen many arrogant students. Some went on to great achievements and became magicians admired by all. Others sank into obscurity, never to be heard from again. Talent mattered, and so did cultivation, but the most important thing was knowing how to judge situations. Don't take unnecessary risks. The school could only protect you for a few years. In society, only the words of those at the top held weight. Thank you for the guidance. I was indeed too willful back then, Mo Fan nodded. The reason we called you here today isn't just to lecture you. We truly hope you can win the duel this time, because the winner will earn the right to cultivate at Bo City's sole underground holy spring, Principal Zhu continued. Underground holy spring. Mo Fan's eyes lit up instantly. Chapter N. Versatile Mage. Chapter 74. 3 years. This wasn't the first time Mo Fan had heard of the underground holy spring. It seemed that the one-eyed magic wolf from before had stolen energy from the underground holy spring and had almost evolved into an even higher rank. From that alone, it was clear the underground holy spring was Bo City's heavenly treasure, so valuable that even magical beasts would sneak into human territory to steal it. Our Bo City naturally has some special resources, but they are specially reserved for those on the verge of entering magic universities. Unfortunately, the underground holy spring is extremely limited. We can only open it up for one student every once in a while. This student isn't just chosen from a school, the magic clans and ancestral families also fight for the spot, Principal Zhu said. After hearing this, Deng Kai gave a bitter smile. Principal Zhu, we haven't had the qualifications to take that spot for many years. It always seems to be taken by the disciples of the clans and families. That's not surprising. The ancestral families and clans can focus all their resources into one outstanding disciple. The nurturing and training they provide isn't something our egalitarian school can compete with. Principal Zhu spoke calmly. It seemed he was already indifferent to the matter. Mo Fan, the outcome of this battle isn't something you need to dwell on. Experiencing the might of a disciple from an ancestral family is also good. It will help you stay calmer on the path of cultivation and work harder. As for the Mu family's revenge, that's nothing you need to worry about. Once you enter a magic university, they won't be able to touch you so easily. If you remain in Bo City, we'll still be willing to nurture you, Deng Kai said. Mo Fan felt moved after hearing the two teachers' words. No wonder Principal Zhu and Deng Kai were so respected by students and parents alike. They clearly stood on the side of common students, willing to protect them even against the ancestral families and clans. People like them were rare. Many public school directors would try to curry favor with the powerful instead. All right, the competition is the day after tomorrow. Adjust your mindset and do your best. Even if defeating Yu Ang, nurtured by the Mu family, is impossible, this duel is still an opportunity. It's not every day you can perform before so many important people of Bo City, Principal Zhu continued. Even after you enter a university, a magician's advancement requires a large amount of resources. If you can find someone influential to watch over you and subsidize you, you'll be much better off. The competition in magic universities is even fiercer. Without support, you'll struggle against students with stronger backing, Principal Zhu advised. The two teachers weren't speaking empty words. They were giving Mo Fan the answers to future challenges, hoping he'd understand that the magician's path was far from simple. Mo Fan once again thanked them. The time passed quickly. Over at the Mu family manor, drums and gongs were beating loudly. Mo Fan walked out of the school, tilted his head toward the sky, and sighed. Shit, 3 years have gone by so fast. Soon, he would leave through this school gate for the last time. 3 years ago, he had walked out of middle school. Now, 3 years later, he was on the verge of leaving high school. The school gates were crowded with cars, here to pick up their mage children. The school had granted 10 days of self-cultivation before the Magic High exams. But before the exams, Mo Fan still had his duel. In truth, he had been waiting far too long for this day. He could not forget Mu He's arrogant attitude when seizing their family house, nor his father Mo Jiaxing's helpless expression that had pierced his heart. He would never forget Mu Juoyan's condescension from 2 years ago, how he had treated them like dogs, driving them out, then later tossing them a bone, and expecting Mo Fan to come running back. Was he born just to be controlled by the tyrannical and arrogant? No one was born to be someone else's slave, unless they willingly licked their master's boots. The Mo Fan of yesterday had been nothing, a clown at the bottom. But tomorrow, he would step into the Mu family's gates and, with the strength he had painstakingly cultivated, defeat their carefully nurtured disciple, proving that even a spark could start a great fire. Mo Fan, Mo Fan, a familiar middle-aged man called out. Father, how come you're here? Mo Fan asked in surprise. I heard the school's giving you a self-study holiday, so I came to pick you up. Mo Jiaxing grinned, showing his clean white teeth. The scene felt like 3 years ago, when Mo Fan had failed his exams. Back then, the gates had also been crowded with cars, and his father had waited for him in the sweltering heat. The difference was that Mo Jiaxing was now more tanned and thinner, proof that he had been working tirelessly for the family these past 3 years. Another difference was that Mo Fan had gone from a lagging student to a magician wielding both lightning and fire. At the very least, he was now worthy of the sacrifice his father had made by sending him to magic school without hesitation. Father, you don't have to work so hard. Didn't I transfer some money to you? Mo Fan said, feeling guilty seeing his father's tanned face. You keep your money. A magician needs a lot of it. I heard from some old mages in the stronghold about something called a Stardust magic tool. It can increase your cultivation speed. I'll try to raise money to buy you one, so you'll have something when you enter university. Otherwise, how will you compete with those kids from the big cities? Mo Jiaxing said with a smile. Mo Fan was momentarily speechless. Magic had replaced science, but Mo Jiaxing was still the same as any father, pure and straightforward. Don't worry, the school has already provided me with one. Use that money to look for a house with little aunt. You don't have to buy, just rent for now, Mo Fan said. This year, Mo Fan had hunted several beasts, earning commissions of 120 to 130 KRMB. It wasn't enough to buy magic equipment or tools, but it was enough for his father to rest a little and relieve some financial pressure. In truth, Mo Fan didn't know how to tell his father that a Stardust magic tool was incredibly expensive. Not something you could buy with a few years of hard work, but something most people couldn't afford in a lifetime. Chapter End. Versatile Mage. Chapter 75. Variety of Ways. That's not necessary. You're entering university soon, so who would be staying in that house? It's better if Xinxia stays at your little aunt's. Us big men have a hard time taking care of her. I give your little aunt some money every month. Speaking of which, the card you gave me has about 100 or so thousand, plus I have around 80,000 saved from running all over the place. In total, there's 200,000. That's enough to buy a piece of magical equipment, right? I heard that's extremely important for magicians, Mo Jiaxing continued. I already have a piece of magical equipment. Oh, I almost forgot, you obtained a magical tool from Zhangkong. Honestly, you're really giving face to your father. I don't know how many times I've heard the old hunters in the stronghold talk about that matter. Speaking of it, Mo Jiaxing's face beamed with pride as he realized it had already been a year. Tomorrow, I will go to Mu Manor to have a magic duel with someone called Yuang, Mo Fan said sincerely to his father. I know. I've asked some elders in the Mu family to have Yuang go easier on you. Either way, you're only there to bring some luck to his coming-of-age ceremony. Being able to display yourself in front of so many powerful and influential people of Bo City is also an extremely rare chance for you. Speaking of which, I still wonder how you even thought of this kind of outstanding method back then. Anyway, don't offend Master Mu again. He's still unhappy about what happened between you and Mu Ningzu back then. You little brat, so young, yet the pearl of a family almost eloped with you. Mo Jiaxing said. Mo Jiaxing didn't blame Mo Fan for the things that happened in the past. Mo Fan had been too young, and doing a few stupid things was normal. Furthermore, the biggest problem didn't lie with his own son. The problem was that the other family was too powerful. Sigh, if only Mu Ningzhu had been the daughter of a common family, he would have gained a daughter-in-law. This little brat didn't have any redeeming qualities, yet his ability to win over a lady as a child was outstanding. This magic jewel was seen as an incredibly good thing by Mo Jiaxing. Many other disciples who had better circumstances than Mo Fan were eager to appear at this grand coming-of-age ceremony. Even if they were only there to enhance Yuang, it was still a supreme honor. For a fool like Mo Fan, this kind of opportunity was indeed very good, as long as he didn't intend to actually fight for the outcome of the battle. What kind of background did the other person have? Being the supporting character would be fine as well. If Yuang really became a great figure in Bo City in the future, they could at least say, I fought with him once before. Father, I will be able to win. Mo Fan said sincerely. Don't be too ambitious. I'm already very satisfied with the grades you've gotten now, Mo Jiaxing said, patting Mo Fan's shoulder and laughing. Seeing Mo Jiaxing's attitude, Mo Fan felt puzzled. Why does everyone think I'm going there just to be someone else's cannon fodder? The Mu family's invitations had been sent ages ago. The entire Mu Manor was already surrounded by distinguished friends and high-class guests. The employees of Mu Manor were extremely busy. Even a stray weed in the flowerbed would cause a fuss until it was fixed. Mu Juoyan had gone overboard for this coming-of-age ceremony, making sure everyone in Bo City knew about it. Mo Fan had once wondered why Mu Juoyan had arranged for him to fight Yuang. It seemed the sly old fox had planned it all along. It was about adding a good luck charm to the grand banquet. Just drinking and eating would have no meaning. Watching the younger generation duel was better. Not only could he humiliate Mo Fan beneath everyone's gaze, but it would also give his new family face. Why wouldn't he do it? To be honest, Mo Fan hadn't expected Mu Juoyan to give it such wide publicity. Perhaps Principal Zhu and Deng Kai were right. This was a contest between the disciples of an ancestral family and the students from school. Mo Fan was no longer just the top student of Tianlan Magic High in name only. Even if he hadn't offended Master Mu, he might still have ended up battling an ancestral family disciple. Fine. We'll deal with both new and old grudges at the same time. Old scoundrel, since you've made it so public, then I'll make you lose face. Mo Fan stood in front of his old house, raising his head to look at the Mu Manor, which was decorated with lanterns and banners, brightly lit. A cold smile formed on his face. On top of the manor, Mu Juoyan suddenly sneezed. He was sitting inside the tea room, rubbing his mustache, his face full of pride as he looked at Mu Ningzhu, who had returned during the summer holidays. This coming-of-age ceremony was originally prepared for you. However, I didn't expect you to be far more outstanding than we imagined. This tiny Bo City is no longer something you need to contend for. This coming-of-age ceremony will be given to Yuang. He is loyal to our family. In the future, he can be your right-hand man when you contend against disciples of other elemental ancestral families. Mu Juoyan said. For his daughter, Mu Juoyan had gone through a lot of trouble. Why are you still holding on to him so tightly? Even if you wanted to let Yuang obtain the opportunity of the underground holy spring the proper way, you could have chosen someone else, Mu Ningzhu finally said. The him she referred to was naturally Mo Fan. That little scoundrel slandered me in front of so many people. How could I forgive him? Doesn't he think he's noble and virtuous? Doesn't he think he's amazing? How is it inappropriate of me to give him such an exceptionally good opportunity? I've already arranged it. When the time comes, you just need to sit next to me and watch. Mu Juoyan's mood shifted immediately when the topic came up. Still protecting that kid. Mu Juoyan didn't understand. There were so many outstanding disciples from large ancestral families, yet she didn't speak more than a sentence to them. She just had to care about a poor kid who didn't know how to admit his mistakes and had no real abilities. Then tell Yu Ang to stop before he goes too far. Mu Ningzhu said, knowing her father wouldn't budge, so she said her bottom line. Don't worry, I have morals. I only want this kid, who doesn't know the difference between heaven and earth, to understand that the dignity I stomped on means nothing. Tomorrow, he'll learn that being completely defeated in front of everyone is truly losing all his face. Mu Juoyan smiled coldly. Little brat, you want to play with me, Mu Juoyan. When I shook the whole of Bo City, you were still in your mother's womb. I, Mu Juoyan, have a variety of ways to make you unable to raise your head again in Bo City. Chapter end. Please guys, like, comment, share, and subscribe.